All right, so the question asks for the equation of the tangent line. So here's the equation of the tangent line at the point 1, 0. So I put in 0 for y1, and I put in 1 for x1. And we need to find the slope. They gave me the slope right up here. So I am going to take that, and I'm going to evaluate dy dx at that point. So 1, 0. So why don't you pause me and put that in, see what you get. All right, so I'm going to continue it down here. So I've got e to the y, which is e to the 0, times 3 times 1 squared minus 6 times 1. All right, well, anything to the 0 power is a 1, so e to the 0 just becomes 1. Times, and then we've got 3 minus 6. So then that will be negative 3. So y minus, actually we don't even need the minus 0, right? So y equals 3 times x minus 1. All right, so they ask you to write the equation of the tangent line, and then we want to use that tangent line to approximate f of 1.2. So that's going to be approximately 3 times 1.2 minus 1. Okay, so why don't you pause me and let's figure out what you get, and we'll meet back up. And actually, before we continue, I just noticed that this should be a negative 3, which means I should have a negative 3 in here and a negative 3 there. So now let's meet back up and see what we get. All right, and I have negative 0.6. So they're asking for the particular solution, so we know that we are going to put this over 1. Let's cross multiply. I get dy equals e to the y times 3x squared minus 6x dx. We're going to want to separate our variables, so let's get that e to the y over on the other side. And that way we have our variables separated there. Okay, well, our next step then would be to integrate both sides, right? So I'm going to integrate the left. I'm going to integrate this right-hand side. Now the left-hand side there, that I would probably want to change that a little bit, make that look a little bit prettier. So let's see, let's make this the integral of e to the negative y dy equals, and we've got the integral of 3x squared minus 6x dx. Okay, so let's look over here. This isn't a normally e to the y, there's a negative there, so we are going to have to do u substitution. Put that over here. U is going to be negative y. So that means du is going to be negative dy. And what am I going to need on the inside? And what am I going to need on the outside in terms of multiplying by? So I will need this to have a negative here, which means then on the outside, I'm also going to need to multiply by a negative. So I'll need a negative on the inside and a negative on the outside. Okay, so let's see what we get here. So I've got the negative integral of e to the u du. Oops, let's make that look like a u, du. And again, this one's easy peasy over here. We're just going to leave that as 3x squared. Ah, jeez. My pen. Okay. Let's see. So the integral of e to the u is just e to the u. Right. I got a negative e to the u. Now, it is u substitution, but without bounds, so we're always going to plug that u back in. So instead of writing e to the u, I'm going to write e to the negative y, because I'm going to put that u value back in, equals, and on the right-hand side, I am going to get x cubed minus 3x squared plus c. Now remember then at this point, once we have the y on one side and we've integrated here, we usually like to plug in that point, and the value that they gave us was 1, 0. So we're going to plug in 1, 0. I'm going to get negative e to the negative 0, which is really just 0, right? Equals, and then I'm going to have 1 cubed minus 3 times 1 squared plus c. Okay, so why don't you stop me and work it out, and we'll see what you get. I have c equals 1. Then let's go back to the top of the page there, where we had negative e to the negative y equals x cubed minus 3x squared, and let's put in a plus 1. All right, I think the next step should be to get rid of that negative, so we're going to make this positive and then going to change all of these signs. E to the negative y equals negative x cubed plus 3x squared minus 1. Then, how do we get rid of an e? We should ln both sides. So the ln and the e are going to cancel each other out, and we're going to be left with negative y equals the ln of negative x cubed plus 3x squared minus 1. All right, then last step, let's get rid of that negative. So that's going to be y equals, and let's just make it simple, negative ln times negative x, or I should say of, negative x cubed plus 3x squared minus 1. There you go.